Welcome to the Other Side podcast number 3 with Ishan and me, Anand. We've got our guest today on the podcast, our first guest. He's a friend from school. Like all three of us, we're from the same school. Abhinav Verma, welcome on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Anand. How have you been, man? How's the weather in Germany?
Hey, pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well as well. Just like we talked before this session, you know what I'm doing these days.
Oh, yeah. Why don't you give us a little introduction of yours? What are you doing?
So,
What's
hi
happening?
everyone to the Other Side podcast. I'm Abhinav Verma, small scale business owner, and I also host a podcast named UIB Abhinav. I've been friends with Anand because of his art.
Hmm.
I actually
Right.
appreciated his art way back in school, so I got some art pieces from him for my podcast wall, and that's how we meet, and that's how he started his podcast. So I'm a guest now.
Yeah. Good to have
So
you,
how
man.
you feeling? Come to the other side podcast.
I feel like the other side.
Those
You're
who
I
on
don't
the
know,
other
man. I'm
side
feeling
now.
great. It's always good to catch up to people who I aspire to be, who I think will give me a challenge about myself, who I think are working hard towards their ABC goal, and I get to talk to them. So it's inspiring for me to talk to you
Yeah.
guys, talk to Anand. I think we met after years after I messaged him about his art.
Yeah, we
In the
never really
same way,
talked
I said
in
like,
school, I think. And we actually talked a few months back. We met twice and we had some great conversations. And I realized that you're growing, you're learning every single day. You've started your podcast, or you're meeting new people, you're growing. And yeah, we discussed a lot of stuff, like whatever we have learned throughout the years. Why don't you take us through a journey from your school time, if you remember any of it? Like, how did you build what you are today?
I won't say I built it in school, but I think in
Yeah, of
school
course.
time I was a big time introvert, pussy ass shit. Not that introverts are like that, but I was
Everyone's like that.
a, a total wuss. So I needed something to
Mhm.
challenge myself. I needed something to be more brave, if you get what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if everyone has that, but I think men have that feeling that they need to be brave for, I don't know, life, for their family
Yeah.
around them. So that was a need that
Mhm.
I craved. Intellectually, I thought that I was very superior. So yeah, that was an ego I needed to shed down.
Really, really.
Post my school years, I realized a lot after dropping out my college, thinking that you know this college degree won't matter. The people around here are not as competent as I want to be around me. If you're the
Mhm.
smartest man in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Etc.
It might have been my ego back then in college, but dropping it was the best decision, and I don't
Mhm.
regret any decision in my life. After post that, started doing my CA, chartered accountancy in India, and
Mhm.
well, it has a 3 year of on the job training. So we have to do every task that a CA does, but without the degree. So it's like that. Learned a lot in that, and also started my businesses, some of my online services back then, and that's how I learned about the market. And the most growth happened in those 3 years, where I was a
And
very introverted person turned into an extrovert because of doing sales, taking calls every day, meeting new
right.
people, just being interested in them, not for the sake of network or connecting like in LinkedIn. By the way, a bullshit platform, but no hate.
Isn't
So
it?
yeah, I think that's how I have grown over the years. Mostly this, like, I have 10x, 20x my growth in the last past 3 years. Post COVID, completely changed.
Awesome. Okay. Let's go in a bit more detail. Like,
Yeah,
you dropped out of college. What were you
yeah.
doing? What were the realizations that you had?
Okay, so I was pursuing this degree called Bachelor's of Commerce, which is for a basic commerce degree after you do your high school in India. And it
Yeah.
was the best college in Chandigarh available, right? So my local hometown best college. But I realized that everyone there was, I don't know, they were in a race that did not feel right. A race that felt
Good.
like uh, maybe this is not how humans are supposed to run for long term, if you get what I'm
Is
saying.
it?
So
Yep.
that is
Yep.
what college felt like. So 6 months I was in, I gave my semester exams. Last exam, I was gonna fail that because when
Good.
you're gonna flunk it.
Okay.
So I thought, all
Yeah.
right, I might cheat, but let me go to the washroom first. So I go there, I pull one out, I piss, and with the piss, I realized I had its epiphany, eureka moment
Uh-huh.
that
Uh-huh.
fuck this shit, I'm out of here. So never got back into the classroom, just left there and never saw it again. Until, yeah, my parents
Wow.
said, at least get your termination letter. So college
That's
called
a
me
good
after one
story.
and a half years saying that
Mhm.
if you're not coming to college, you're not paying fees, at least get your termination. What are you doing?
Mhm.
So yeah, 6 months
Okay.
dropped out. And oh yeah, it was like just before COVID, my dropout. So for one and a
Okay.
half years, I did not contact college because I was in COVID, and post
Is
COVID,
it?
I started everything I could because in COVID, I realized we had a lot of time with ourselves to think about, just having the mirror in front of you. COVID was damn
Good. Of
harsh.
course. Yeah.
Even post are like these 4 5 years have been very hard. I've seen too many deaths, but yeah, that's part of life. And I realized that, man, everything that I need to do, I have to start today. And every interest that I have, I
Mhm.
must pursue my childlike wonder, my curiosity into anything that I find interesting. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Clearly, you learned a lot. Usually, after dropping out, so you had time with yourself. You had a lot of time, and that's the best company to be in, like to actually learn. So that's good. So after college, you mentioned you started uh, something on the track of being a CA. So how did that happen? How did you start that?
well, that was sort of pre-decided after my 12th class. Enrolled into the entrance exam during my college, and as soon as I cracked the entrance, it was like 6 months of college were over, and I thought,
Mhm.
all right, I might pursue it full time as well. So very stressful few years doing my exams. It's a like very it's the top finance degree in India. So I was
Mhm.
subjected to a lot of stress during that, and I did not handle it well. That's when the learnings happen. So along with the time to myself and okay, so the time to myself was only when I was not studying. So it was like 12 hours study and then 4 hours to just
Mhm.
myself, which were
Mhm.
brutally divided, half-hour sessions like within the breaks of my studying, and that's how I
Mhm.
was like subjected to a lot of stress and self humiliation, self doubts about whether I should pursue it or not, if it's worth it. Since it was COVID, so we were not even going out. Anything
Yeah.
physical, almost like negligible. And
Mhm.
I also do have these cycles of having a very good physique, then 6 months no workout, being fat, gain, again. So these cycles happen in a lot of things. I don't think
Mhm.
we should get
Mhm.
into my mental diagnosis.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, man. So
So
Mhm.
you were asking CA, so it is the hardest thing I have ever done.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
what did you get to learn about yourself? All this path.
Well, now I'm at a stage where I can say I'm so much self-aware that I can see myself you know, from a third person perspective. So I have
Mhm.
learned myself that when I say I want to do something, it's not that I will do that. So I've learned that I procrastinate a lot. I don't align my like future vision with my current present day output. That happens a lot. And I was pretty emotionally distant with myself, that emotionally suppressing myself, that, and I was
Okay.
taking too much stress without realizing it. And hence the, you know, if you have something wrong anywhere in your body, it is going to be, seen in your either your behavior or your biology. So for me, it was hair loss, was having those very bad years of COVID, not having on, not being able to deal with things that were happening, the daily deaths and everything. Even though, like, I do say I'm very emotionally distant, but yeah, they were pretty hard hitting for me.
Sure.
Did you take any? Did you try to gain some knowledge or elevate your thoughts so that your thinking patterns, or you could find some way to deal with your emotions,
Yeah, I won't say
to
it
deal with these low
was
conscious
because of
states?
my, I won't say it. The reason was to gain something. I did that when I was very egoistic to tell my ecology. It's like, oh, I want to learn something. Oh, I want to gain something from this book. So I'll read it. So when that
Sure.
period was over, I just wanted to know more about myself. So that's how I got into philosophy, into psychology. Stumbling upon philosophy, my first one was, I think, nihilism, Nietzsche, and psychology. I was introduced by Jordan Peterson and few others. So,
It's
uh,
a good combination.
though, yeah, the nihilism, that rabbit hole of nihilism was very short period. I'm thankful for that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it
it
is
was not
short-lived.
to learn something about, uh, you know, like I want to learn something about the world. No, it was just to explore myself. What the hell am I doing? What the hell does it mean that I'm thinking? So that was
Right.
the reason I started.
Right.
Yeah, philosophy. It's the same reason I got into it, like to know more about myself and about everything that is happening around us, building better perspectives on them, because our conditioning, our programming, our society doesn't really help us create better perspectives on things and actually seeing things for what they really are. Right. So, yeah. So, from nihilism and Jordan Peterson, I think I've heard from Jordan Peterson this saying that to on like the path to growth, to self-realization, and to self-mastery and stuff, nihilism is like a part of it. Like you have to first break all your beliefs and all that programming, and nihilism does a good job at it. Good job at that, because first you need to destroy the meaning that you've created in things. You need to eliminate that, and then you recreate it. So yeah, that's a good step. How did you get out of it? Did you use any other philosophy, or did you like use your own experiences, life experiences? Did you completely distract yourself from it? What was the process?
I'm not sure I can map you like exactly what I did, but yeah, the thought process was more of this. It's very complex when you are learning about something. It's not just one input that you are getting. You're getting like 100 inputs from different things. So
Right.
as I was, also doing my chartered accountancy course during that period, and I was exploring many other of my interests, I stumbled upon this idea like ask yourself, तो क्या? So what? Right.
That's it.
So nihilism, uh, you know, like there is no meaning. That I can't do anything. After 100 years, I won't matter. None of it matters. So I started
Right.
to realize like, okay, so what? What do I do? Do I stay dead? Like, do I become a dormant person? Like, I don't do anything. I don't
Right.
go out. I don't know. Leave out all the pleasure of life. Like, I don't think that's very sustainable, and that's not very healthy for anyone that I even think that I love, right? If
Is it?
nothing mattered, then even the people that I love don't matter. Yeah,
Right.
so what? What is
Is it?
what if there is no meaning to life? Then I stumbled
Is
upon
it?
this thing where if there is no meaning to life, and since I'm a like atheist slash agnostic person, I
Is it?
realized, man, that if there is no meaning, I can give it my own meaning. And the
Right.
meaning that I gave is take care of people around me and few other goals that I have for my selfish reasons, for my future
Is it?
self, past 10 years, 20 years from now. That
Yeah.
is what I realized, and I'm working towards that. And I just keep in mind that, if it ends today, like if life ends today, it won't matter. I
Is
I
it?
am doing everything that I can. I'm
Is
content
it?
with my life, and I guess that is what long term. You know, before nihilism, I used to chase happiness. After nihilism and after realizing, I think it is a philosophy, maybe the Stoic, or I don't know, when you give
Mm-hmm.
your own meaning. So I realized
Mm-hmm.
it's not happiness; it's satisfaction that we seek in the long term. Happiness is
Yeah.
like bursts of momentum, like sad, happy, sad, happy, sad, happy, ABC feeling others. This whole line that goes on, that is satisfaction. I wanted to go like this, slowly but yeah, steadily.
Yes.
Being
So that
clear.
was it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, like
Being satisfied with
things are
my
always
today
happening.
self.
Exactly. Building your own self based on your own knowledge, and things will keep happening. Most of the things are out of our control, anyways. Like how much can we control? That's our decision making. That depends on our own knowledge, our own psyche, where we are uh, in our mental space, in our head space. But the rest of it is just gonna go up and down, of course.
Yep.
So right, so you start giving yourself, your life meaning. You start creating it, and I think after like watching your podcast, after watching some of your videos on Instagram, um, I've observed that you're a person that likes to make connections, likes to uh, study and learn from people who are best at what they do. And that's where you create value from, right? So how's that, like, how are you implementing that in your life right now? Like, you're making connections, you're connecting with people, you are uh, making yourself grow, and maybe giving others uh, some positive life experience as well. So how's that going for you?
Uh, right, man. So the thing is, my self growth and people that I connect with, they
Is
come
it?
from two different places. It's not
Is
necessarily
it?
that I don't see the connection, but yeah, it's not intentional. Like I am not intentionally trying to connect with people just for the sake of having XYZ business growth, having this in my career, having that in my career. But it's more of a genuine interest.
Right.
You know, I think COVID was a really good time for people to deal with things, people to realize that, okay, if nothing matters, what actually really matters to them. And,
Good.
observing these philosophies, I realized, man, there is so much that people have to tell. There are so many stories that I have not heard. And that plain simple interest. I told you I was chasing all my interests during COVID, all possible interests
Mm-hmm.
that in one day I can chase. So,
Mm-hmm.
like in the past few years, I've been chasing the combat sport interest, boxing. Soon I'll be doing wrestling. In the same way, I was chasing stories. I have been in love
Oh,
with stories since cinema, since anime, video games.
is it?
So, and I think that reality is stranger than fiction. It's even more
Is it?
interesting. That's what I want from my podcast as well. I want to see what people have to offer from their life, and just share
Right.
that, man. I could have been just doing this for my own sake, but I realized I think these podcasts should be out in public so that they can see like everyday heroes. I know I don't have many huge like influences on my podcast or anything, but even these everyday heroes are doing damn good. They're living a you know
Mhm.
fulfilling life. That's what. And they have some very good,
Mhm.
interesting things to say about their career, about XYZ, about how they made it, about discovering themselves.
Mhm.
Right. That is interesting. I think that's a valuable skill set, building relationships. Most
Certain.
people are not uh, realizing that how important it is in today's society, building
Man,
meaningful
the
relationships.
and the approach I
True.
think they do is like, okay, I want to build a relationship, all right. So I'll go to a person. I won't, be interested in them. I'll just say, oh, I do this, I do this. Would you be my friend? So what do you do? Okay, if you are up, in my same field as me, I'll be like, yeah, okay, let's be friends. If not, I'll be like, I'm not interested anymore. People approach it
Mhm.
like this. That's the complete wrong way, man. That's called networking, and it's a pretty shit one. So
Mhm.
building relationship is all about I'm interested in you as a person. Tell me what you do, not just for work. Tell me what you do when you're bored. Tell me what you do on a sunny day. Tell me what you do when
Mhm.
you study. Like for
Mhm.
Anant, I was like, okay, tell me what do you do after we are going away, after our meeting. Tell me what are you going to do? Like if
Wow.
XYZ, you're in Germany, how are you going to approach with your art? How are you going to approach with your career? How is your family?
Mhm.
What does
Mhm.
your father do? How did that things impact you? How does your mother take care of you?
Right.
Things like that. I'm like interested. Okay,
Oh.
let's see where my family stands. Not just not that in a way that okay, my family does that. There, someone else's family does this. Very interestingly, you know,
Mhm.
things like that.
Yep.
Like everyday thing, everyday tasks that they do, and the small.
Mhm.
It's the beauty in people that we only see sometimes when we are in love with them.
Mhm.
I try
Mhm.
to see the beauty in every day. In so I also have this philosophy of mine. It's just personal thing that if I see something beautiful, I'll appreciate it.
Mhm.
Whether it's of nature, it's of people, anything. So I told you na before this that I give compliments to random strangers. I don't care, man.
Right. Right.
If it's a man, it's a woman. Doesn't matter to me. Same for nature.
Mhm.
If I see a beautiful thing, I'll just pause for a second or two, like, damn, it's beautiful.
Right. Right.
That moment that I'm here, I'm seeing this. Let me take in the deep breath.
Yeah.
So usually people get that feeling when they're in love. They'll see a beautiful woman, they're like, man, I'm in love. But they don't have the guts to say that. I
Mhm.
see anything beautiful about a person. I'll be like, you have a damn good dress. Your hair looks amazing. Your eyes are so deep. Things
Bro,
like
bro.
that. Anand, your voice is really powerful. I think you have that grasp on audience. Things like
Right.
that. Your
Right.
art speaks to very different level of people. And even the art that you think is shit, I took that from you because I loved that. I could see something in it that the artist could not. Maybe that's
Mhm.
what I'm here to do. Maybe that's what is fun for me. So
Mhm.
that's my way of socializing. Way too much.
That's very deep. It's not much. It's actually almost necessary. It's a way of looking at world that I think like there is no negative aspect to it, and you can only gain when you have that kind of mindset. You can only
Yep.
like everything is an opportunity for you to
Everything is a
absorb,
plus point.
to experience. Yeah,
Like I'm not looking for opportunities. I'm not looking to gain something. I'm just happy to hear. Okay, what do you offer?
right.
Like so everything
Mhm.
above anything else that I get is a plus point.
Yeah, right, right. That's what makes relationships meaningful. Not
Yep.
expecting, not like when we expect something from someone, that's just again a low conscious state. It's a selfish thing, and what you're doing is much closer to selflessness and experiencing reality and people for what it is and for what they are. So there's beauty in everything, and
Yep.
you're choosing to see that,
Yep.
which is, I think, a very profound and a very necessary practice that everyone needs to hear about. It's pretty good.
I mean, we're living in a dark place, man. We have to find joy from something. So it's beauty for me, beauty for me. But there's one thing I would like to add, that expectations
Mhm.
are natural. I too have them, but from I've limited my scope of people that I have expectations from in a relationship, from my family,
Mhm.
so things
Mhm.
like that. I have limited my expectations to very small subset of people. But for strangers, I'm open to like anything. You want to
Mhm.
bash me, no problem, man. Do it. I don't care. I'm not at your place, you're not at my place. You want to appreciate something about me. Thank you for that. Anything is like,
Yeah.
Nice. It's pretty good. You met a lot of people, and you how many podcasts have you done till now?
I think I'm on 7. This would be my 18th podcast. Actually 19th. One is unreleased.
Mhm.
That's right. What has been your experience so far in podcasts?
Right now, too much commercialized. Like sometimes, I'm not saying every time, but yeah, sometimes my guests feel like they would be on a YouTube video. They get conscious. I'm like, relax, take a deep breath, like
Mhm.
we did in the beginning. So I try to make them feel at home. I don't want them to feel like this is what we are going to talk about. There's nothing else that will be on the plate. I want them to think like
Mhm.
this is a safe space, man. Share your story. Imagine you know, it's your kids that you want to share this with. So people do only share good things, but yeah, sometimes it's better to share even the better ones,
Mhm.
because for your kids, you want to share them, show them that you're human, right? Okay, kids, this
Yeah.
was my mistake. Don't repeat that, or at least try not to fall in the same mistakes. These were
Mhm.
my achievements. I tried my best. This is what I'm doing right now. So
Mhm.
treat that as your YouTube audience. I don't know if I'm making sense or anything, but that's how I
It
want
makes
my
sense.
Mhm.
how I want my guests to feel. That's how I feel like relaxed. There is no uh formality in that. Some of my
Mhm.
podcast might feel a bit formal, because even my best efforts, the guests were okay. We are going through formality. I'm going to be formal in this. We're talking about my career only, so that sort of thing. But that's
Mhm.
fine. I mostly
That depends on people.
try to get the real them out of their shell. Okay, tell me, how was your childhood? Did you
Right.
enjoy, doing this career? Were you always opting for it?
Mhm.
How is your family like? Things like that. How do
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
see your children seeing you in future? Or if not, like,
Right.
why do you choose not to have kids or anything? Things like that.
Right. You try and incorporate your nature of seeing beauty in things and learning from everything into your podcast as well. So yeah, okay. And you do a lot of book recommendations as well. I've
I
seen. And what are your top books? Like on your list, what are your top recommendations till now?
on top of my head, man, because I've not been reading very much for the past few months. I've been very busy with reading legal things, legal documents
Is
and
it?
everything. But top of my mind, I mostly read fiction, man. To be honest, I like stories more. I think
Mhm. Right.
I've realized a lot from stories than from non-fiction. But okay, my top
Mhm.
books, Agatha Christie's, and then there were none, a murder mystery.
Mhm.
I'll say for non-fiction lovers, there's a sales book and a marketing book that I don't know is relevant to every bloody fucking being there. Does not
Yeah,
matter what you do. It's called $100 million leads, $100 million sales, or yeah, these are two books. I don't have them right now, but yeah.
Different.
Uh, there might be more, man. Top of my head, I can't think right now.
of course. Thanks for those. I know because you gifted me 4 books,
Oh my god, I
about what,
forgot the
3 or 4 books.
the OG book, man. The one I gifted you,
Yeah,
Almanac of
yeah,
Naval
yeah,
Ravikant, man. Can't beat that
exactly.
fiction, non-fiction.
Yeah, yeah. I'm still reading it, and the insights that there are in that book, like, they're crazy. They're good. That's my recommendation to everyone, right? So it's pretty good.
The Almanac, na, I feel like I should read it every 1.5 years, 1 years. So just so I can see,
Right.
that the principles, some of them are very much in align with what Naval Ravikant has to say, my own life principles.
Feels it.
So just to see that,
Feels it.
am I going in the path that I intended? If I
Feels it.
have, uh, you know, diverted myself, is that for the good, or am I just, diverted by distractions? Things like that.
Feels it.
Almanac of Naval Ravikant, top rank.
It's great. It's great. Literally everyone should read it. It's a need. He talks a lot about, like, the recent quote that I read in that book from Naval was, there are no white collar or blue collar jobs anymore. There's no rich or poor. It's leveraged or unleveraged,
Oh, yeah.
which is pretty good. Leverage is what you need to create today. Also, if you need to learn about sales or business, it's a pretty good book overall.
Yep. It's a good book for wealth creation, not for quick money, not for anything else. If you think you can
Correct.
create wealth for,
Feels it.
and let's just not limit wealth to financial being. It's my personal parameter, but in India and in
Feels it.
US, in India it's 50 lakhs per annum income. Above that, everything is luxury. In US, it's $100,000 per annum. Above that, everything is luxury. And I've come up to that number very scientifically, right? So 50 lakhs in
Feels it.
India covers every imaginable medical bill, every imaginable emergency, and you can live
Perfect.
your life very comfortably, and you can take care of your family as well. Same, I think, applies in US, but yeah. So creating wealth around that number or above that, whatever you wish, like for your goals, that book will
Yeah.
teach you for how to create wealth that lasts your generations. You know,
And then
That's true. That's true. You mentioned you're studying for law exams. What are your aspirations, current aspirations? What are you
I can't
planning?
really reveal what I'm studying for and what I plan to do, but it's more in a line of my goals
Sure.
right now. After
feels
struggling
it.
for 3 years, I've realized, okay, I figured out what I need to pursue
Oh.
so that they are in a line with my 5 year, 10 year goals,
Feels
so
it.
that I can take my, let's say, one business and make it into an empire. What do I need to
Feels
do
it.
right now, today? So that is how I break down goals. I at least try to, man. Like my 5 year goals into 1 year plans, then the whole year systems. Then today is like, what do I do right now? Pursue that.
Feels it.
With that is, I think, the most difficult thing that I've come. Every day, trying to do something for my 5 year, 10 year self. My
Feels it.
future self will be thankful for me. But right now, that is a lot of pressure. That is a lot of hard work. And it's every day that I, feel like, all right, just once, let's give into this distraction. I think even that is important.
Oh.
Sometimes you just need to relax, take in the beauty of, I don't know, a show, comedy show,
Feels it.
the beauty
Feels
of
it.
comedy in it, the irony, things like that. Sometimes you just need to do that, but other times I feel like I'm just distracting myself with. I think it's called self-realized mediocrity, settling in for
Mhm.
things just because they're easy to grab. I think that
Mhm.
happens to a lot of people who are intellectually good at school, academically good. I'm not saying intellectually, my bad. Who are academically good,
Mhm.
they don't face many fears in the early lives. Alright, so I was a
Right.
victim of that.
Mhm.
After that, I tried so many things that I can say I'm failed at 100 things. And the only thing that I can do next is to continue to risk things. I am at
Mhm.
that age. I don't have much responsibilities to take care of people, right? So I can take that,
Mhm.
and so I was talking about people who are academically gifted. They don't,
Right.
what was I talking about before that? It's all
The
like
people,
it
who
goes into a flow, but yeah, I can't reconnect it back.
people who were academically strong, like they had a different behavior set uh,
Yeah, so
a different behavior
they
in life.
usually. Oh yeah, yeah, I remember. It was self-realized mediocrity,
Right.
right? So this was thing that happened to me as well. I was like, I can
Really.
easily do this, get a good living. I don't need to do anything else. And I was like, yeah, maybe I can live my whole life like that. But yeah,
Mhm.
it was more like not even expecting anything of myself. It was like the bare minimum I can do to live through this life. Yeah, I can
Mhm.
live comfortably. That's fine. There's no need to do anything more.
Well. Right.
And that I think is a very dangerous place to be.
Yep.
Like
It
not
is.
even expecting yours.
I think.
Don't like
Yeah.
what we do
Like
is we
the
treat
cover.
others very harshly and ourselves very like lightly. I'll do this tomorrow. It's fine. It is just a 1 day's work. I don't want to do it. I just want to, sit back, relax for 6 hours.
The problem.
But I think
And then it's never ending.
anyone who has done anything significant, who has felt like they are content, they're satisfied with their work, and I'm not talking about people who are traditionally successful. Anyone, even like take our parents, man. If they're satisfied
Mhm.
in their life, I know many of their generation is not. If they are, they're one of the few lucky people who are. And one thing they have done is they have high expectations of themselves and they treat people not that harshly. They treat themselves harshly, but the people around them, they treat them very like with a soft cushion, like it's fine, you can do that. But
Yeah.
for themselves, they have very high standards. For people, they are
Mhm.
non expecting. Like, we were
Right.
saying that, not expecting much from others, but having very high expectations of yourself. I think
Exactly.
that what beats the mediocrity cycle that we are very content in.
So,
You need to be kind to others, but strict with yourself.
Yep.
Quote by Marcus Aurelius.
Oh,
So
maybe I
yeah,
think I got it from him. I
yeah,
read Meditations. It was so good, but yeah, I need to revisit it. It was
Mhm.
like 2 years back. So yeah, a lot of my philosophy is influenced from Stoicism, Hindu philosophy, Buddhism.
Right.
Stoicism is great. Like I'm still like all the books in Stoicism, you can read it multiple times. You need to like you always get some insights. You're always in different situations in life, and you can always extract something and apply it. Right now, I'm reading Seneca's letters
Oh,
the second time, and you know it because I share like a part of it, like a little nugget every single day with 70 people in
you
my
have me
friend
intrigued.
circle.
I have that book, and I think I'll start it like today for
Oh, it's
10
really good.
15 minute read.
Yeah, like much ado, like it's a part of my routine. Like just read one letter every single day. It's not that much. Everyone can do that, and every single letter by Seneca has uh, a unique perspective about It's not a unique topic. It's a different topic every time.
Yep. I'm not sure if you remember, but I told you to not keep that gift of reading that book, enjoying it to yourself. Like you share it with me and maybe some few select
Mhm.
people. I
Yeah.
would love if you would share it with the audience that is on Instagram or like daily
Oh
on
yeah.
Instagram and
Yeah.
YouTube as form of shorts. Like what is
I
short
might.
for
I might.
if not, sharing that snippet of your life?
Exactly. True. True that. True that. I'm actually thinking of doing that. I will. So, Abhinav, what's your take for people who are watching? What's your take on life?
That's a like I can't sum
Yes.
up the universe for you.
Of course not. Like based on your experience till now, based on your knowledge, based on everything you've learned. What do you think? Like summing up every the best of everything you know into
Okay.
few sentences. You know.
Okay. I'll try to do that. uh, if you have a religion, good, you have set of rules. If not, have your morals so high that even you can't break them. And for meaning in life, if you have one meaning, try to understand why you have given that meaning. Is it just because a scripture said it, or do you actually from in heart apply that meaning? If you don't
Mhm.
have a meaning, well, the best meaning you can give is something higher than yourself, something not selfish, but only selfish to the part where you feel satisfaction from doing that. So something higher than yourself would be like, okay, I want to, this is my state. I wanted to have the best schools. Maybe I wanted to have the best sanitary streets, whatever. That might be a goal. I don't know. Or
Mhm.
it might be as simple as that I have a small sister. I want to take care of her. I want her to have a good life. I don't want her to be worried about things that, I grew up worrying about, or maybe that the things that
Right.
a lot of people in my country worry about. Simple things like clean water, you know, good housing, maybe good financial situation. Like not thinking
Mhm.
about can I afford this college? Can I afford my studying? Things like that. Giving
Right.
yourself a higher goal. And
Right.
then you can, uh, you can map out the ways you can reach that goal. One of the ways would be if I want to take care of my sister, I first need to make sure that, okay, I have that skill set to earn that much. How would I get that
Mhm.
skill set? Let's see, what am I good at? Okay, and what are some high paying skills? It's a very, now I'm
Mhm.
going into the business definition, but yeah, you need to know what the market offers good money for and what you're good
Mhm.
at. Sometimes you don't even know what you're good at. That's completely fine, man. And I think another point of life would come here, like, would come from this point that it's all in your mind that you think you're good at some things and not good at other things. That's not how life
Yeah.
works. All right.
Right.
Everything is a learnable skill.
Mhm.
The other things that you won't be good at is genetics, man. That is completely out of your control. You don't
Right.
need to think about them. Like how do I increase my height? It's not in your hands. Right. What is
Mhm.
in your hand is having a good physical, like uh having a like good physical schedule, just so you can promote that genes. Okay, as simple as that. Having good sleep,
Right.
having good rest, having good nutrition, things like that. Basic
Right.
things,
Right.
which even I struggle with. So that's
Of
fine,
course,
man. It's
everyone
it's an
does. It
everyday
is a
struggle.
struggle.
Yeah, it's everyday
Yeah.
struggle, but uh, that is life, man. Everyday struggle and just trying to live by it a day at a time with something higher in your mind. If people worship God,
Yeah.
that's completely fine. They have given something higher than themselves a meaning, right? So in the same way, man, give your own meaning. then work every day for
Right.
it.
Right. Put yourself through voluntary suffering to actually grow.
Yeah, but I mean,
Well,
why even call it a
mhm.
suffering? It is hard, but let's why is it a suffering? I'm not sure.
Of course.
I think sometimes we label things and then we are stuck in those labels. So I like to see it like it's hard, yeah.
Yeah,
But
terminology is weird, of course. Terminology is limiting.
Hmm.
That is true. Because ultimately words are symbols. Everyone has slightly different meaning for everything. Everyone has a slightly different image. So yeah. Well, thanks for being here. It was great talking to you. Great listening to your ideas, your beliefs. It was really good. All the best to your future endeavors. And
don't worry, I'll keep you
this is
posted, man. You are one of the few people I'll like to keep, posted about my endeavors.
it's a privilege. Well, thank you for listening. This
All
is
right.
it. We're signing off. Catch you in the next one.